I have a hamstring injury. You have a hamstring injury. We all have a hamstring injury.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I'm Joe Dolan, and this is the Fantasy Points morning lineup for Saturday, September 9th, 2023. This is the second morning lineup of the season, so to recap what I said in the first episode, it will air every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday morning during the NFL season, and I'm going to set a fantasy lineup with some of the most relevant fantasy news on those days. Monday after the Sunday slate of games, Thursday after the first practice reports of the week, and Saturday after the final practice reports of the week. Now, any stats you hear in this program will be from the Fantasy Points data suite, unless otherwise noted. The data suite is currently 75% off for the 2023 NFL season over at fantasypoints.com, and you can check it out with a free 7-day trial. Starting at quarterback for the Bengals in Week 1 is a very rich man. Now, you might remember that in the last episode of this program, I noted that it appeared that Joe Burrow was not taking my advice. Burrow should not step foot onto a field until he has pen to paper on that deal, but it appears he is not taking my advice. In fact, he told reporters on Wednesday that his new deal was the last thing I'm thinking about. Quote, he must be one of the dozens and dozens of fans of the Fantasy Points morning lineup because he very quickly had a change of heart. As soon as the Chiefs and Lions kicked off on Thursday, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that Burrow had agreed to a new 5-year deal with the Bengals with over $200 million guaranteed. He is the new highest paid player in football, a title that will last only until the bill comes due on the next hotshot young quarterback, that being Trevor Lawrence perhaps. I have him as a high, middle-range quarterback one in this matchup with the Browns, who have actually given Burrow trouble in recent years, with Burrow throwing just 4 touchdowns to 4 interceptions in his last 3 games against them. But he's paid and happy, and that's good enough for me.
Tell him to bring me my money.
Now at running back, we didn't get the full Jamir Gibbs experience in Week 1, but I'm still encouraged. Yes, the Lions told us we'd be surprised with how they used Gibbs this year. And after Week 1's win against the Chiefs, well, the surprise was how little they used him. The rookie Gibbs touched the ball just 9 times in his NFL debut with 7 carries to 2 catches, while playing just 27% of the Lions' offensive snaps. Meanwhile, David Montgomery had a bell cow role, carrying the ball 21 times for 74 yards and a score. Gibbs looked like he had some serious juice, picking up 60 yards on his 9 touches. Now, per Fantasy Points data, he broke a ridiculous 7 tackles on his 9 touches, including trucking a defender at the end of an 18-yard run. And had he not lost his footing on a cutback in the red zone in the first quarter, he would have scored the Lions' first touchdown of the season. Look, my take all offseason was that the Lions had 2 top 20 fantasy backs last year by fantasy points per game, and I expect both Monty and Gibbs to be startable the rest of the season this year. Now, you probably aren't happy with his production in Week 1, but to me, the tape was encouraging. And if the Chiefs have Travis Kelce in this game, well, the game flow was likely going to be more in Gibbs' favor, as Montgomery wasn't even targeted in the passing game. Also at running back, I'm excited to watch this Seattle backfield in Week 1. We got a little bit of a scare when Kenneth Walker popped up onto the Seahawks injury report with a limited participant designation on Thursday with a groin injury. But he doesn't have a game designation for Sunday's still with the Rams. That means he's good to go, presuming Pete Carroll isn't doing anything nefarious here. Remember, Walker did miss some time in training camp with the groin injury. And it looks like he's going to play in a game in which the Seahawks are favored by nearly a touchdown against a Rams team that's down its best offensive weapon, and has a defense that really features Aaron Donald and just a bunch of guys. That's good for fantasy, right? Because Seattle's running back one averages 20.2 fantasy points per game over its last 13 victories. But the selection of round 2 rookie running back Zach Charbonnet, plus Walker popping up on the injury report, might give some fantasy players pause. Nonetheless, I'm firing up Walker as a viable RB2, and I think Charbonnet is defensible in deeper leagues as a blind faith flex, giving the matchup. Blind faith flex? Blind faith flex?
Today, Junior?
I don't know, that was a tongue twister. Anyway, I think he's okay to play, if you need him. At wide receiver, it's hamstrings. Just hamstrings. Hollywood Brown, hamstring. Questionable. Jerry Jeudy, hamstring. Questionable. Romeo Doubs, hamstring. Questionable. Christian Watson, hamstring. Out. DJ Chark, hamstring. Out. Cooper Kupp, hamstring, out.
Zeke, Rufus, Jeep, Billy Bob, Billy Jim, Billy, Billy, Banana Fanta, Philly, Doug, Enos, Julio, Fletcher McGee, Rainchild, Zeke Jr.
I get it!
Yeah, you get the idea. And it's the guys who have the recurring hamstring issues, Brown, Watson, and Kupp, who I'm the most worried about here. Now, for fantasy purposes, let's kind of parse this out. If Brown and Jeudy play, I'm considering them volatile wide receiver threes, though I adore Judy's matchup against the Raiders since he smokes cover one. In Green Bay, deeper league players should keep an eye on rookie Jaden Reed out of Michigan State, and I'm really intrigued by rookie tight end Luke Musgrave out of Oregon State. You might need him with all the tight end injuries we're about to discuss. The Packers are being cautious with Watson, but Coach Matt LaFleur calling him week to week doesn't exactly warm my cockles. As for Carolina, with Adam Thielen questionable with an ankle injury in addition to Chark being out, rookie wide receiver Jonathan Mingo should not be on waiver wires because, well, Bryce Young's got to throw the ball to somebody. As for the Rams without Kupp, well, Van Jefferson had a great camp and someone has to catch the ball here too. Puka Nacua, the rookie out of BYU, can't be started this week, but probably should be rostered in deeper leagues. And in our flex spot, Travis Kelce, the tight end 1 by ADP this offseason, was out on Thursday. Mark Andrews, the tight end 2 by ADP, is questionable with a quad injury. Darren Waller, the tight end 4 by ADP, is questionable with one of those damn hamstrings. And George Kittle, the tight end 5 by ADP, is questionable with an adductor strain. Though Kittle always seems to be battling injuries, the guy I'm most concerned about here is Waller, who was great all summer and seemingly healthy until popping up on the injury report on Friday, which, by the way, is never a good sign. You never want to see a guy pop up on Friday on the injury report. Now, here's what our Dr. Edwin Porras wrote about Waller in his injury-prone draft guide this summer, which you should all buy, by the way, while pointing out Waller's risk of injury was significantly above average. Quote, Darren Waller has chronic knee and back issues, missed half of the 2022 season with a hamstring strain, and turns 31 in September. He has not necessarily aged gracefully to this point in his career, Dr. Porras continues to write. Being the clear number one pass catcher for the Giants sounds so enticing, but it doesn't come without risk. Not many pass catchers since 2018 have been able to return successfully after a hamstring injury after 30. For those who need to set some streaming tight end options this week, the aforementioned Luke Musgrave is an extremely enticing option, as is the Rams' Tyler Higbee and the Panthers' Hayden Hurst. Now, if you have Andrews, though, the best move might simply be to pick up Isaiah Likely as a handcuff, because he's likely available in your league.
Boo! You stink!
Thanks for joining me for a Saturday morning edition of the 2023 Fantasy Points Morning Lineup. Now, remember to subscribe to the channel for more fantasy football content, hit that like button, and comment if you enjoyed this video. And you can catch me and my work over at fantasypoints.com. Good luck this week, everyone.